Okay, by now you probably have seen the video of these 3 items that I have on the bench here. Tommy is, at this time I'm making this video, he is editing that video. So meanwhile I was cleaning this up and oiling it, and I want to show you a few things here. First of all, this is like very greasy, so I left it that way. It's got a lot of grease on it. Fine, I guess that's the way it's made. I have no idea. I think these are just pulleys, and I put WD-40 down in here and down in here, but try not to get them on the wheels because I think they're rubber coated. I was tempted to do the band, but I decided not to because I think that's rubber that it's riding on, and we wouldn't want any problems with that. This little bracket was bent in. It's probably a mounting bracket to have it go on the bench, so I straightened that out. This was rusty. I just hit some WD-40 on that, and I got the cabinet separated. Apparently there was a little, like a plastic button on the throat of this, in this throat area here, that I had to push, and then it released the whole thing. But I'm not able to snap these back together again, but I'm not worried about that right now. I have a loose turntable, and I have no idea why. I cleaned out the motor vent here. You know, I can get my finger in there, and you can, you know, get all the dust and out of dirt and everything out of it. The label is loose here. I'm not worried about that. Everything's fine. The cord is fine. The wiring is good. But the turntable, I'm going to show you. I got to turn this over. All right, I got this thumb wheel as tight as I can get it, and there's play in this wheel. I mean, in this platform. Turn it around here. You might be able to see better. Let me try to get you in there. Let me try to move this platform. See, it's pivoting on the set screw, which I'll show you on the other side. There doesn't seem to be any other thing keeping it, but you got this movement here. Maybe that's why the guy got rid of it. No matter how tight you make this screw, and I'll show you on the other side here. All right, I tighten this up as tight as I can get it. See, it wants to pivot on this. See? So if you're cutting wood, you're going to go all over the place with it. The only thing I can think of is to just drill a hole through the platform and put a bolt in there or something and hold the platform down on the right side over here. I don't know what else to do. There doesn't seem to be, there's nothing else in there. This is the pivot point, and it takes 2 hands to do this because I got this really tight. I loosen this here, and you see I lubricated this with WD-40. This thing wouldn't even move hardly. There's no other position here. See right here? I'll clean this out while I'm in there. The only thing I can think of is to put a bolt through here and have it fasten up underneath here to hold that down. I don't know. It's pivoting on here. No matter how tight this is. I hope you can see that. Hope the lighting is okay. So you tighten that. You know, you can tighten this any position, but you still got that play. See that right there? No matter how tight you make that, I don't know, unless I take this nut off, if it comes off, this adjuster, and put a star washer behind it, which is probably not the way you should do it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else on that, you know? That's just the way it is. So you lock it down all the way, and you tighten as hard as you can. I don't know. It all went together pretty good. There was this push button here, the plastic, that is connected to the other side, the other shell, and that was keeping it from opening. It was a little tough job trying to get these things to snap in, but they did. But that bothers me. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it other than to drive another screw in here. That will only be good for running the table flat, of course, and if I want to adjust it, I'd have to take out the screw. I think that'd probably be the best way. Just drill a hole here and put a self-tapping screw in here. One that would take a socket wrench, and I can remove it. That's the only way I know, because you see it's pivoting on this. And as tight as I can get it. So it's not a matter of it sliding on this like it's supposed to slide here. Its problem is it's pivoting on that, and it's not supposed to be, and there is nothing missing here that I can see. I was doing some work last night on the ear. It seems to be way off on the low frequency band, way off, and doesn't seem to pick up very much at all. This one will go down from 150 kc to 500. So I was able to get my signal generator here, or the function generator, to come through on this with no problem, using the antenna just laying near the radio. You know, in other words, the clip from the signal generator, and then I took this clip and moved it over here and set this to 200 kc, and I was able to pick it up on this, but nothing on this. And when I'm up to, I think it's 500 kc, 400 kc rather, I'm getting almost 500 on there, but that's all I'm getting. I'm not getting anything else in between here. So now I gotta make some room on this bench here so I can get that monstrous scope up there. Alright. Oh man. Why do I buy these things? Like I say, one of my viewers said I should have bought this for the chicken knobs, and that's basically chicken head knobs. That's exactly what I did. Let's see. Yep. That's why, and it has such a beautiful face on it. There's no rust. All the numbers are nice and clear. And you got some sort of a rubber metal surround here. I'm going to try to bring this up on the variac to see if there's anything out of it, but I gotta get these things out of the way here. There's no room in this shop. But you know, I can't help it. I just gotta buy something like that. You know, I can't pass it up. Like I say, the guy wanted 10 for it, but I really didn't need it that bad. But then I thought later on the knobs are worth that. Everything's soldered. Not directly to the pins, but there's separate connectors pushed on there. In other words, there's no CRT socket for this. Let's cut this wire off. Man, is that brittle. get rid of this. This is no good at all. That's petrified. It's all coming apart. That will go in the trash. Now one contact is off. These are like tube pins. In other words, like somebody took a tube socket apart and made these up. Or it could have been, this is a DeVry Technical Institute oscilloscope, so it's probably a kit. And maybe that's the way it was. You just push on instead of a socket. And there's a terminal strip here just hanging. I hope you can see that. Not a big deal. We're not really going to... I would like to try to fire it up on the Variac to see if I get anything on the CRT at all. Alright, I have this cord which is in fairly good shape that I took off of one of my radios. Non-polarized, of course, and that's what was on there, but at least this is flexible. So I'm going to put that on there. It's a lot better than having that clip lead thing going in there, and I'll be able to I'll temporarily tack solder that in to the on the terminals in there. I have no idea where this goes, but I'm interested in trying to see what this looks like in there, and I want to bring it up real slow on a Variac. I don't need an isolation transformer because it has a power transformer. So, nothing fancy. We're just going to tack it in there. I'm not going to put a knot in it or anything else because it's not going to stay in there. I don't seem to get anything out of it, but that one wire that's off, there's two pins that could have gone onto on the back of the CRT. I tried them on both. I don't get anything. I get a full 118 volts going in, drawing 400 mils. So I ran it on the dim bulb. I did this off camera, and I didn't check voltages or not. The tubes are, so I didn't bother checking any voltages. But not too worried about it. I just curious to see if the CRT was good, and I'm not going to worry about, you know, going too crazy with this. Let's get the radio up on the bench here. Yeah. Get the radio up on the bench here, and we'll take this apart at a later date and save the front panel and so forth. I don't have a CRT tester, so that would test these. I did have, but I'm not into CRT stuff anymore anyways. So, let's open this up. Alright, let's see what we got here. We got a guarantee. Oh man. Huh. Your guarantee of safety, Underwriters Laboratories. Nice wire screen here. And a ratty, like a, looks like it's been painted. These are not the kind of radios I like as far as beauty. There is no beauty in these things. But it has a decent looking cord on it. And it looks like it takes a battery pack here. See if I can get you a model number. It's a Philco. Let me see if I can get you a model here. Okay, it's a Philco Come on, I can't get the magnifier in there far enough to focus. Focus, there you go. Philco model 49-607. 110 volts AC or DC, 30 watts. Code 121. It also takes a type P-841A like an alpha battery. I can see it uses a 1U5, a 3LF4, now that's a new one on me, 117Z3, oh boy, these have got some expensive tubes in here. That's got to be this 117Z3. Can electrolytic 3-gang tuning. That's one of the reasons why I says I'm going to buy it, because it's got a tuned RF. Now, down here on the bottom, it says part number 10647G like in George. That's probably the battery that goes in there. Pretty dirty in here. Got a terminal strip in here, but that looks like it was added. I'm going to get you a closer look at this. I want to get some light on the subject here and get you over here. All right. It's pretty dirty. What I'll do off camera, I'll test these tubes first. This is pretty, that's not original. There is a opening on the side over here. Probably an earphone, 1/4-inch earphone plug, a receptacle. Like I say, the cord doesn't look too bad, but it is pliable. It is a Philco. These controls are way too far in. I think they're supposed to come out more. Looks like it's got a metal grill underneath the wood grill here. This would probably will need staining in polyurethane or something. I don't know. Or maybe just paint. This type of finish, pretty crappy. Yeah, so you had to see the bottom part there. It looks like it might have been painted black. Alright, what I'm going to do off camera, I'm going to test the tubes. I'm going to get out my B&K 606 here and test the tubes. Yeah, when they're like this, you know, you just paint them, I guess. I don't know. I can hear buzz now. Because he would tear it all down and refinish it, you know. I don't have that talent, or the patience for that matter, to do that stuff. But let me test the tubes. I'll get right back to you as soon as I get the results of the tube testing. Okay, I'm not going to be testing tubes on camera, but I wanted to just show you the tube seems to be okay. No shorts. I just ran a short switch, rotated it. But it has an unusual grid emission, which I guess is probably okay. Just watch the needle. When I push the grid emission button here, it goes up and then goes right down. Let it go. Goes up and goes right down. But it stays in the green, so it's okay. The quality is good. Right on 100%, the meter goes up to 120. So that 1U5 is good. Well, I just noticed it's missing a tube right here. It's probably an very expensive tube, too. What the hell is this here? Looks like somebody stuck a diode in there. Yeah, they did. There's a diode and I can see the band on it. Well, I'll test the rest of the tubes anyways, and I gotta struggle to get into this tube chart here and see what tube it is. I'll have to do that off camera because I gotta get really in there close. So, okay, this tube is good. This is the 1U5. I'm gonna test all the low voltage tubes first, and I'll test the 117 volt filament. Yes, that's 117Z3. The first numbers on a vacuum tube is the filament voltage, so it's 117 volt filament on this tube. I'm sure they can be replaced with a solid state diode. Not sure if this is probably a series string set, so I'm not sure how you've got 117 volts here and the 1 volt in series with that filament. That I don't know. I'd have to look at the schematic on this. I've never worked on this type of radio before. So let me go test the tubes and I'll be back and give you a report on the rest of it. Alright, it don't look like we're doing too good on the 1U4, which is what I pulled out. Here's our grid emission. Here's our emission, which is good, but we're also getting an intermittent short. You might be able to see that. It's barely flickering there. Yeah. Well, the 1R5 is no good. It's not shorted. No emission. Lots of grid emission. So, all right. So this radio I don't think is worth bothering with because I'm not putting money into these tubes. These are very expensive tubes. And I have no idea what this one is. I have to pull the radio out. I cannot see this here. And there's no point in me pulling it out because I'm not going to be buying tubes for this. You know? I didn't realize, because I couldn't see the tubes. I probably would not have bought this if I knew it had 1-volt tubes in here. Because the 1-volt tubes are very, very expensive. At least most of them are anyhow. So, the 1R5 is no good. Okay, the 1T4, which was right up here, tests good. Okay. The 117Z3, which is what this is supposed to be, is not a 117Z3. I cannot make out. It looks like an 803 or a 303. I used my, try to breathe on the tube and make it come out. You can't see it on camera, but there's no other numbers on it. It looks like a 308 or an 808. And judging from the filament on the top, it looks like real thin wire, so maybe this is a low voltage tube. This might be a 3-volt regular rectifier. So certainly don't want to put 117 volts on this. So let me look up a 308 or an 808 in here and see what it says. This tester will not test it anyways. It won't test 117 volt filament. It only goes up to, I think, 50 volts, so you can test a 50L6 and tubes like that, but you can't test anything above that in filament voltage. So, there's no point in looking it up, because if it is a 117 volt filament, it's not going to be able to test it. It looks like a 305 or an 805, not a 308 or a 808. But I can't make it out, so I'm not even going to worry about it. But this chart does say 117Z3 over here. So, I don't think I'm going to do anything with this radio, because whatever this tube is probably expensive anyway, so I'd need at least 2 tubes. I'll put this one back in here. It needs at least 3 tubes, actually. The one up here, these, I don't remember which one it was now, but they're all tested. So we have a total of 2 bad tubes in this radio, either this one, or this one, and this one. This one I can't test, and this one's good. 1T4 is good. I think it was a 1U4 that was bad too. Alright, so we can't do anything more with this right at this time. This thing here needs too much, expensive tube, so I probably won't do anything more with it. I really shouldn't have bought it. I didn't really need to buy that oscilloscope either. The bandsaw, yes, that was something I could use. It's better than the scroll saw that I had, which just goes up and down. That's what I was trying to explain on that last video there. I couldn't get the proper term out. Yeah, scroll saw is what I had, but I think the bandsaw would be better for some of the woodworking projects I do. But as far as this radio is concerned, I don't know, and it needs a lot of work. And I've seen wooden case radios that look like this. They're not very attractive, especially those battery radios. They don't appeal to me. These type. You really need to glue everything down and just give it a good coat of paint, I guess. That's kind of hide the ugliness of it. As you see, this has been painted. You can see and whatever happened here, I don't know. You just get some gold paint and you go over that, over that. It don't really have any wood grain to speak of. And this is all This is all warped and everything. Yeah, it's all gonna break on me. Never made any sense why you'd have to close this down like that. Oh well. That's it for tonight, folks. Take care and have a good night.